Hi, my name is Rachel. I'm with Engineerica Systems, and today I'm going to show you how our company plans to utilize data from the Google Calendar app in conjunction with our AccuCampus system, and how data is exchanged between the two systems and what it's going to be utilized for. So AccuCampus is a cloud-based tracking system for college and university student service centers. So these can include tutoring centers, financial aid centers, advising offices, things like that. It has a lot of different functionalities in order to track this data and show different things like what are retention levels and success outcomes and things like that. But the primary feature we're going to be talking about today is appointments. Many centers offer the ability for students to make appointments with staff members, and they can either make that through a staff member or an admin, or they can make that themselves. And currently, if a staff member has a Google Calendar, they can receive a static calendar item with the confirmation email that they can manually add to their calendar. But since this item is static, it doesn't change if the appointment is modified in AccuCampus. If it is canceled or rescheduled, they are still going to have to move that item on their calendar. And if they have any time blocked off on their Google Calendar, such as for a doctor's appointment or anything like that, they still have to go back into AccuCampus and enter that time as off time manually. So essentially they're having to enter it twice, once on their calendar and once in AccuCampus. Otherwise, the system could potentially allow students to make, the system would allow students to make appointments during times when the tutor or staff member is not available. So that obviously can create some issues, and it creates more work for staff, and we want to avoid that as much as possible. So that is why we are hoping to implement this Google Calendar sync. It's going to be a two-way sync that will mean that if an appointment is made for a staff member, the appointment will appear on their calendar automatically if the staff member has their sync set up. And if the appointment is changed, that change will be reflected in the Google Calendar. And if they make any changes on the Google Calendar item, that change will also sync back to AccuCampus. If the staff member has any off time on their Google Calendar, that time will also sync back to AccuCampus as off time automatically. So the staff member does not have to worry about entering that availability twice. So we're going to start off. To our, I'm just going to connect my test tutor to my Google Calendar. And they can view the access that will be granted to Google, and select my calendar that it should look at. Okay, so we've made this connection successfully. Now let's go ahead and see what it looks like when I create an appointment. So right now, let's go ahead and say we want to make an appointment for let's say for Monday at 11:30, Monday, June 12th at 11:30. So I'm going to go ahead and make that appointment using my admin account for my test tutor, Charlie. So he said Monday, 11:30, which is currently available. Make it for 30 minutes. And that has gone through for Monday at 11:30. So let's go ahead and take a look at my Google Calendar, and we can see that appointment has now shown up. So if I needed to make any changes to this appointment, I can do that. Let's try that first in AccuCampus. And let's say we're going to move this to the 13th, the same time. So the 13th at 11:30. And now that appointment has moved. So if I needed to move this appointment on my Google Calendar for whatever reason, now let's take a look at that to see what information is actually shared. So the if I had selected a course, the name of that course would appear here as well, just so the staff member, if it's for like a tutoring session or something similar to that, they would be able to prepare and know what materials they might need to bring, but no other information about the student besides their name is going to be shared with the tutor using this. And this would be the same thing if they didn't have the sync set up, if they were just receiving it as a confirmation email with a static calendar item. So this does not give anybody access to data that they should not have access to. So let's say we want to change this appointment to the following Monday, the 19th, and I hit save. Okay, so now we see it on the 19th. And if I were to go into my appointments here, let's see. Okay, so it's still showing up as the 13th, so there is a bit of a delay. So we're gonna pause and then fast forward to a few minutes when it should go ahead and sync over. The appointment has now synced back from the Google Calendar to AccuCampus. So if for some reason a tutor has to make a change to an appointment and they don't want to log into AccuCampus to do it, they can do that directly from the calendar. And this would also work if they had to cancel the appointment. If it was deleted, it would also be deleted from their calendar. So if I were to delete it here, oh wait, I have to do that on my admin account. Let me go ahead and do that there. Yes. Okay, so if I go back into my Google Calendar, we can see it's no longer there. So let's take a look at off time. Do my availability and let's hit refresh. And we see that the off time has been synced over for 6:14 from 10 to 11 a.m. So if I were to click on this, and then an admin would probably be the only one who would have access besides me as a tutor to this page. And we can see that even the admin would not be able to see this info. So if I were to go back as to into my admin's account, and look at this person and say, I want to view their availability, I can see the same thing as I would if I were logged in as a tutor. I go to off times, and again, I can't see any actual data from their Google Calendar. So all I see is that that time has been blocked off. And so that's really the main thing, is that no confidential information that doesn't need to be shared is being shared with our system. The system only knows that the time is blocked off, and that should not be made available for appointments.